Something happened in Chernobyl that everyone should already know about.
I've never heard.
And now I'm gonna set you back.
Go on then.
I'm gonna send you back to
Back
the
to
Soviet
the
Union.
And all of a sudden you've got blisters coming up your face.
No, yeah, it takes
I guess
time.
it is an example of your DNA is getting destroyed and you're dying from the inside out.
Hello and welcome to Phasmaphobes, the podcast where the lights go out, the EMF starts to spike, and the line between the living and the dead goes dangerously thin. Tonight we bring to you the mysterious case of Chernobyl. But first of all, we are your hosts. I am Declan.
I'm Lauren.
And I'm Lydia.
So, guys,
What is the scariest thing that's happened to you this week?
My tooth just fell out.
as in like just
Like
in how just,
moments
Lauren?
moments ago.
Just moments
mere
ago.
moments ago.
Mere seconds ago. I have lost tooth.
Well, she did put it on Lydia's mic stand.
It wasn't a full
Accident.
tooth, but there was a piece of
of
Lauren's tooth on my mic stand.
It's just
I think
great.
there's a little remnant on there. That looks like
There's,
there's a little
there's
line.
residue.
Can we take a close-up
There's
for later?
residual tooth.
Such fun.
Nom 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 nom.
Nom, nom, nom,
I
nom.
will take a photo and we can splice it in.
Baby back, baby back.
So don't mind me. I'm just stressing.
She's a bit upset now, understandably.
So, honestly, she's not going to be really much help through this podcast.
I'm going to be a
She's
very
gonna-
upset lady today.
Hopefully, we'll make her forget.
Yeah,
with
are you
all
going to
this.
sit and tongue your tooth the whole way through?
Probably.
Yeah, you're doing
I'm
that
already
right now.
doing that, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
You know, that makes it worse.
Yeah,
You're
probably.
Like, you're pushing the disease further in.
Disease.
She's going to need a root
The
canal.
gingivitis.
Because I am your dentist.
Pixie
Goodness gracious.
Declan, what's the scariest thing that's happened to you this week? Go on, tell me.
As I said, the last week we recorded, I haven't left the house, so like literally nothing's happened to me.
Why don't you make
Makes
something
me
up?
Makes
yeah.
me up.
Oh, the metal man.
Yeah, tell us about the
Metal
metal
Man.
The metal
Well,
man.
this wasn't this week, but this is a scary, spooky story. Side note, let's go on a little trail down the Hassel to Hart walkway in the local area of Shotton Colliery.
Such fun.
Me and producer Alf were walking on a very foggy evening
With producer Sid.
with producer Sid,
With
which
producer
is the
Sid.
dog you've already met before.
Yep.
And we could hear like a ping, like a ping, ping,
A clang.
like a very mistakenly, very obviously metallic,
Yeah.
water dripping sound. The best way I can describe it was a piece of corrugated metal and there was water dripping out. That's the best thing I can think of.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we shone a torch in the general direction. Nothing, and the sound stopped.
When
So,
you exposed it.
When we exposed it to the light, there was no corrugated metal. There was some cans and recreational bottles from the youth
Of course.
The youth of
the
the
local
day.
with
Free.
holes burnt in them. Don't know what they were used for.
I actually
wonder. Yeah, you wouldn't, to be
But anyway, moving the light away and the noise would come back.
Oh.
So we walked a bit further and we got down towards what's it called? Wingate.
crikey.
That's the one. Wingate. And this man just appeared out of the fog and turned this really bright torch on it, which blinded us.
Carrying shopping bags. They were like shopping bags, weren't it?
Yeah, it was like this
Down the
white,
lines?
Yeah, down the lines, the middle of the night, because there was like just me and Alfred out and the dog, and like he had this carrier bag which must have just had like the heads of his victims in or something.
Yeah.
And he was heading off to like the general direction where I know there's like an abandoned caravan in the woods. So all
We
that
should
was
investigate that.
we should try, but it is a live shooting fire like shooting.
Never
zone,
mind.
so
Well, that
let's
makes it
not
all the
go there.
worse.
But
That's true, actually. It does.
yeah, that's the story of the Metal Man up to now, and I'll keep you posted as and when. But
That is scary. That beats my scary.
well, what's your scary thing? Go
I
on.
went to the dentist.
Well,
And I
That's where
got
Lauren will be going.
I got an X-ray
Because
because my
emergency dentist.
wisdom tooth. Oh yeah, it's very toothy. This.
Yeah, very
My wisdom
tooth-heavy
tooth
podcast.
is growing in that way.
I
So I
had
think
this.
it's gonna
I
have
had
to
all
go.
this. I had all this.
And what frightened me about the experience is, you know, when you get an X-ray, and they like put that really uncomfortable piece of horror in your mouth,
Uh-huh.
And then the dentist just dives
Runs
out
out the room as fast as they can.
Yeah, and you're just left there like,
why do they do that?
50 Shades of Gamma Ray.
Your head in a vice.
But I wasn't in a vice. I had this like really uncomfortable plastic thing.
Yeah,
but it was
that
just the
black
way
thing
that
they put in
she
your mouth.
nosedived out the room.
Yeah,
and,
they all
and
do
left
that.
me to die.
I wonder why
They get out very
leave.
quickly. I remember when I was a kid, and I got to get all me baby teeth like surgically removed, and they put my head in a vice to get the X-ray before the surgery.
I
They'd
imagine
all just run out the
that
room.
kid off Finding Nemo. You know when she had the big brace on. Or Regina George. Well, speaking of X-rays and radiation,
Gamma rays and alpha rays.
Hey, have you seen Balamori's back?
What?
that's just totally ruined my segue.
I'm so sorry.
Right, we'll have to just pause right there. But Balamori's back, Laura.
Tell me about Balamori.
It's back this Monday. Balamori,
like-
same woman.
So
Is
last
Spencer still there?
Wait, I didn't know about
PC
the other
Farm.
characters. I just know the main lady who's
Have they
like.
done like an iCarly though? Is it for adults?
No, it's like little children. Like
last week's episode, you outed me for watching Mr. Tumble.
right,
And now you're weeping at the fact that Balamori's back.
No. I'm not watching it. I've just seen it all over me.
I had a gold
FYP.
Yeah.
PC plum.
Me
Did you
FYP.
And Spencer, yep. Yeah, I had the whole crew.
I had a Drake and Josh.
Oh, geez.
And
Drake
Drake
died.
died
Josh
straight
died.
away, but Josh was really old and fat.
What? What?
That matches
My
up.
fish.
Oh, I thought you were about the characters. I was
My
like,
fishies!
what?
They're well and truly alive. Laura.
Oh, and you had them named Drake and Josh, and one was fat and one died.
Yeah, and I remember that Josh was really old and like all of his scales were coming off, and my dad just mercy killed him and flushed him down the toilet alive.
That's disgusting.
If you're watching this, Dad, it stayed with me.
That was your fault, Gary.
My apologies. I just got excited over the fact Balamori was back.
And speaking of Balamori, should we talk about Chernobyl?
Yeah.
That's a
Come
better
on,
segue, isn't it, than radiation? I thought so as well.
Sorry, bro. My apologies. Radiation, Chernobyl.
So,
Bring it on.
Radiating positive vibes.
Yeah,
I'm going to set the scene for you,
Go on then.
in case people didn't know. One night, the workers of a power plant noticed a big black flying creature above the power plant, right?
No, they didn't.
Apparently, they did.
Apparently, it was Mothman.
I've never been on live television before. Mothman?
It had glowing red eyes, and it was half man, half bird. Okay. Now,
Oh.
they called it the Black Bird of Chernobyl. However, it's more famously known as Mothman. And Mothman, have you heard of Mothman?
No, never.
Okay. Mothman is as the dude in Prison of Azkaban said, an omen of death.
What?
You know when he's on about the Grim? And, my boy, you have the Grim.
The Grim.
And he goes, it's an omen of death.
It's an omen of death.
And then it's like,
Fun fact.
yeah.
That's actually what inspired the Beatles song, Blackbird.
What?
Mothman.
Harry Potter?
The Mothman.
Lauren's only hearing body. She's gone with that tooth to Neverland, to the Netherlands.
No, he didn't actually. I just wanted to say that.
I like that though.
It's
Led
a
me
nice
right
concept,
up a
isn't
garden
it?
path. Yeah.
Paul McCartney's right up there.
Well, they were all off their nuts on LSD, weren't they? So
So Mothman is just like allegedly what
He's a
people
cryptid.
seen above.
So, he was first seen at Point Pleasant in West Virginia in 1967.
born and raised.
And he appeared the day before the Silver Bridge collapsed, which killed 49 people. Sorry, 46 people. Then,
Damn.
since then, he has been seen before major events, including 9/11.
Really?
There's a photo that we're going to put on right there.
Of Mothman.
God, you
Of
took us
Mothman.
by surprise there.
Above the towers. Before,
Oh.
yeah. So it's a thing. It's a cryptid. It's like your Bigfoots and your skinwalkers and all that kind of
I've
thing.
never heard of that before.
But yeah, he's a creep. And people saw him the day before. Something happened in Chernobyl that everyone should already know about.
I've never heard.
And
What
now
could
I'm
you be on
gonna
about?
and now I'm gonna set you back.
Go on then.
I'm gonna send you back to
Back
the
to
Soviet
beginning.
Union.
What was the Soviet Onion?
Well, I think you're labouring under a misapprehension, and you probably mean the Soviet Union.
No, it's onion. I saw it on a bit of paper earlier.
Well, that's probably been misspelt or you can't read very well, but I think that you mean in historical terms the Soviet Union or the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics.
I don't want to be rude, but I think you're mansplaining a bit. Can we stick to the topic of the Soviet Union, please?
Okay.
The
The
Soviet
Soviet
Union.
Onion.
I'm going to send us to the Soviet Union. Do you know what that is?
I
Yeah.
do.
Should we explain a little bit in case people
Lauren
don't?
has watched Stranger Things, so she might understand.
Yeah, that's the Russians.
Yes.
So basically,
Close
the
enough.
Russians
It's the Russians.
controlled, or Moscow controlled, 15 different countries in this period of time, and they were the Soviet Union. So that was Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, Azerbaijan, all those countries in that area. It went from like Europe to Asia. And basically it was run by the KGB, who were lovely men. Said no one ever. You
Just
know
because
What
she just
Putin is?
he was.
Oh, he was.
He was
He was
KGB for
ex-KGB.
16 years.
Damn.
And it shows.
And it shows.
bit Novichok for breakfast tomorrow, Lauren. That's what you'll be
What's
having.
a Novichok?
Well,
Wow.
How's your father?
Hey. Don't know.
Genuine question. How was he?
He's alright, I guess.
Good.
Prob's in his shed.
That's where all dads should be.
They're always in their sheds.
in their shed.
At that time, the Soviet Union was very heavy on censorship, propaganda. It was similar to like North Korea, Nazi Germany, that sort of thing.
What, like, time?
1921 to 1991.
Damn.
So Cold
That's
War
quite
era.
long. Yeah.
And their big beef was with the US. And
It
they were
always
in,
is.
They were in a constant race to beat them at things. And
Well, there was
obviously,
the space race and everything because
Yeah.
of it, wasn't there?
and a military strength was something that they were really focused on, including nuclear weapons. But also that they wanted to compete with the US with the energy that they could produce. And so came the wonderful idea to build a nuclear power plant.
The Simpsons.
And they chucked it somewhere. You've just sent me off with the Simpsons.
Sorry. I just heard nuclear
Ah,
power plant and that's what came to mind.
Before I mention that, to anyone who doesn't know what the Soviet Onion is, I did have something that I likened it to, which was the Hunger Games.
All right, okay.
So
So like
imagine-
Panem and then the districts.
Yeah, so imagine the capital is Moscow, and all the districts like Ukraine, they're different. They're like
Parts of the onion.
yeah, so they're bottom of the
Layers of
barrel.
the onion.
They have the food shortages, the constant surveillance by the KGB,
Right?
and there was a lot of repression of their culture, so they lost a lot of themselves. I think they were even wanting them to speak in Russian and that kind of thing.
I
So
missed out on that one.
Yeah, you should have been watching.
So yeah, they needed all this energy, so they wanted a big fat nuclear power plant, and they got one. They thought, you know what we'll do?
This was a good
We'll
idea.
build this plant right next to the Pripyat. I think I'm saying that right. Pripyat river, because then there's all this abundance of water, and we can keep our reactors cool. And they thought it's a great idea because it's nowhere near civilization. It's far enough away to make it not dangerous.
It's like an abandoned city.
No, at
Not
this
at
point
this-
it wasn't a city. There was nothing there. It was just
Just land.
the perfect place to go. However, they then decided, even though they wanted to keep people safe by putting this somewhere where there was no one
About.
nearby, they were like, but all these workers are going to need somewhere to live. So they built a big fat city less than 3 kilometres away from the power plant. And it was
Is that
like
defeating the object then?
100%.
You know
no
what I mean?
idea
But
why
it's
they did
just the
this.
same as like Hartlepool and the Seton Carew nuclear power station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they haven't had the explosion that
No,
Chernobyl
they
had.
haven't. They haven't. No.
You know.
And it actually had a population of 50,000 people by the 1980s. And it was a lot of young families, all these young people coming and working in it.
Working in the
They were
plant.
painting this prosperous life. They were all pretty well paid for the Soviet era.
It's going to be like danger money as well, isn't it?
And also, I think it was at a time where you can't really say no to the KGB because what's going to happen to you is not worth
Not
thinking
very
If
about.
you've been
yeah.
offered this prestigious job in this closed off community of people like the Soviet Union, you're going to take that better life
Yeah.
if you can.
Yeah.
And it was quite modern for its time. It had schools, hospitals, swimming pools, cinemas, and it even had plans to open a fun fair.
It actually
All around the power plant.
Didn't
it had an
actually open one?
abnormal amount of like infant care.
Did it?
Yeah, like nurseries, because it
I
was a
wonder if
very,
that's
very,
'cause there
very
were-
young town.
yeah,
and
there
there
were
wasn't
young
very many old
families.
people. Everyone had
Yeah.
babies.
So Chernobyl itself used Soviet-designed reactors. Do you want to go into science behind
What,
that?
the RBMK reactors?
Yes.
Well, I'll drop that in as
Do
and when
tell.
we need it.
Right.
When
I've
we
got a
need it.
little mention of it here, but we can come back
We'll
to that.
come back.
Yep, plant workers were well paid for Soviet standards and they were highly respected for their job. So the
You've
culture
got to be
was
for that, haven't you? Like, well paid for that
yeah.
kind of shit.
the culture was be obedient and you'll get money,
Yeah.
basically.
Mm-hmm.
Which was the downfall of the whole situation. Because in
Situation.
1982 they had their first issue. There was a partial meltdown of Reactor 1 and radioactive material was released. But they didn't inform the public and they brushed it under the carpet, which is very typical for the KGB to do that because they don't want to admit their wrongs.
I'm listening.
It's just so sudden. They don't want to admit their wrongs and they don't want anyone to think that they've done something wrong. And it's bad press. So they didn't tell anyone. And that meant that the system was flawed in both ways because there was a problem in the plant that they were hiding. There was also a problem in the way that they were going to behave about future problems.
And see, that's the worst thing you can do is, like, not be honest about
Yeah.
what's going on in the situation because it puts everyone at risk, doesn't it?
So the day after Mothman's seen in the sky, Saturday the 26th of April, which is yesterday.
Yeah.
So
as of the day of
yesterday,
recording.
as this episode's going to come out on the 27th.
Oh, sorry, not the day of recording. It's the day it was released.
Yeah.
Day after
So
it's
that'll be
released.
its 40th anniversary of it happening.
And we didn't actually.
This wasn't
plan
planned, so I guess the stars just aligned.
that. Stars have aligned.
All the hashtags for this are going to pop off.
Yeah.
Are you going to put hashtag stars aligned?
Hashtag stars in
will
your
now.
eyes. Tonight,
gonna do
Matthew,
about
I'm
stars
going to
in
be.
your eyes?
Oh, I was thinking like,
Tonight, Matthew!
God, you can tell I'm 1 month older than Declan. Christ, that
Grandmother!
month was hard. Okay, so this is very serious.
Tubal.
It's changed what the world as we know it. How's your tooth?
It's still there.
And where is you gonna laugh so hard? You're gonna spit it at
It's
me.
going to come out.
Dunk a
It
molar.
might, to be fair. It is a molar, so...
There was just
It's
a little
always the
crumb on her
molar.
lip, and I think that might have been a bit of
Oh,
crushed up.
don't,
tooth.
because she's not gonna think of anything else now.
And I used to put the tooth back in my mind. Right.
Mothman's in the sky. The plant workers notice him and they're like, "Heckaroo." Then a safety test goes wrong. Would you like me to pass this bit to you?
Nah.
You earlier on he was like, "Leave all the technical to me because I know everything."
Where's the info? Come on, Declan.
Would you, I'm happy to read out what I've got.
Well, no, because I'll chuck this in when we get to the points where we're not at a point where we're at a point to explain what happened there yet.
Okay.
Get to the actual meltdown itself, and then I'll.
A safety test went wrong. Ironically, they were trying to see if the plant could power itself during a blackout. And because of operator errors, they turned water into steam too fast, which basically made it into a pipe bomb and blew the lid off the reactor.
Boom!
That is what I know of what happened. It was
Went
basically
bang,
two
Lauren.
explosions.
Big bang.
And there was 2,000 tons of the biological shield, which was the lid of the reactor. That's what got tossed into the air.
Which is all just made of like soil, concrete, just all natural materials to keep
And
that
there's-
thing
Yeah.
into the ground.
There's a report that the people of the town of Pripyat, which is this new model city that they've built,
Yeah.
were stood on this bridge oogling at this beautiful blue light, like a beam of
Not
light
knowing
coming out
what
the
it
top
was.
of the reactor. No, and they were all just stood there, like, gazing at it.
Damn.
I forgot what the name of that radiation's called. That blue light.
Ionized.
It's not ionized. No, it's got a special name, and I forgot its name. And that doesn't look good, considering I've literally just been researching this today.
So when the blast
Terrible.
happens,
Can't get the stuff.
one operator died instantly in the blast, which is to be expected
Aw.
because the whole place just
Yeah.
blew.
But I mean, one person's a lot like less than you would expect, considering.
Yeah.
Like to die like instantly.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
assuming
definitely.
people died like
Chernobyl.
later.
Chernobyl.
Please bear with us.
Cheverinov.
We'll let you Google that one yourselves.
I'll put it on the screen here, right there. There we go. It's that radiation.
Da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da.
Which is gamma. It's the worst kind, isn't it?
Gamma.
That comes off actual nuclear waste. Yes.
Yeah.
That would yes.
Okay,
Gamma
so
radiation comes off there.
everything goes Pete-tong, it blows up. and they call the firefighters to come and put out this roof fire.
Mm-hmm.
Which we have actually got, Lauren. The original phone call to the fire brigade.
So if you listen to this without the video, this is going to be a load of gobbledygook to you. If you watch it with the video, we'll put subtitles on.
There is
So you
some
know.
lovely subtitles there, and we made Lauren a little video to...
Алло, это ВПЧ-2? Да. Что у вас там горит? Взрыв на главном корпусе, между третьим и четвертым. А там люди есть? Да. Поднимай наш состав. Поднимаю. Начальника поднял. Так всех, весь офицерский состав, офицерский корпус поднимай. Леонид Алексеевич. Да. Алло, Припять, 3 и 4 блок горит крыша в результате аварии взрыва. Ой, давай. Так уже подтвердили? Не подтвердили, авария там произошла у них. Это диспетчер Припяти сказала. Пожарная охрана. Алло, Иванков. Да. Значит, вы выезжаете в Припять? Алло. Да, я слышу. На атомную станцию выезжаете. Там 3 и 4 блок горит крыша. Алло, Полесская? Да. Вы, значит, выезжаете на атомную станцию, там горит крыша 3-го, 4-го блока.
Damn.
You can hear the fear.
Yeah,
Is
it's
that like
totally
different?
panicked,
Is that
isn't it?
two different people calling? Was that?
I think what it is, it's the initial phone call. So the reason that's actually on record, which is probably something very worth mentioning, is because the KGB, the secret police within the Soviet Union, were involved with nuclear power stations and protecting the nuclear secrets of the Soviet Union. All the phones within the power station were all wiretapped.
Yeah.
Like, everything's listened to, everything's recorded. Like they know everything, and there's still a lot of information withheld about Chernobyl in Moscow, by Moscow, who they'll never release it. They're never going to show you.
I think even the official death toll at that time is
I
crazy.
think the official death toll
For
is
me,
only like 40.
one person dying in the blast is very unlikely.
Well, that's what I mean. When you said that one person died initially in the blast, I was like, that's a lot less than I thought it would be.
Well, there's a hell of a lot of deaths, but we'll get into why.
But yeah, one in the initial blast sounds
Yeah,
like...
to me that's like,
How?
but it only killed one person, did it?
Yeah, or is that just what you're saying?
Yeah, 2,000 tons of... What was it?
Like,
There's
with no
actually-
one else close enough.
There's a
for it.
gravestone on the inside of the Reactor No. 4 building. From that one guy who is definitely buried in there that they know of. He has like a little, the closest, the point that you can get that's closest to where his body should be.
Yeah.
With being in safe levels of radiation. There's like a memorial there that his family are allowed to go to like put flowers down for him.
Oh, bless.
It's dead sweet.
Yeah. So that them obviously you heard the call to the firefighters. They get sent out, and that is under the pretense that this is just a roof fire. They're not warned about radiation. They're not alerted of the severity, so they go in their normal clothes. They don't have a respirator. They don't have anything to prepare them.
Just their normal leather firefighting material that they wore the day.
And almost at once they notice they've got this copper taste in their mouth.
Oh.
Which is the ionizing radiation in the air.
What that copper taste is it's the taste of their DNA being shredded by gamma rays.
Oh, God.
So when that much radiation, and it's unfathomable how much radiation that is.
They're receiving like 5
Is that
lifetimes
strong?
worth within an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that strong that it's destroying their DNA.
It's just
What the hell?
ripping them apart.
Oh, that
Like,
sounds gross.
It's insane. And
Or there was this one little vent, like somewhere deep inside some of the liquidators went to, and this guy like put his leg near like an open vent for 30 seconds, and his skin just started peeling off.
Oh, God.
they
The
get so
worst thing is
gruesome.
you don't feel it.
Yeah, that's grim.
Well,
It's
the
just
thing is
there.
with radiation is that you can't see it, you can't smell it.
You can't.
It's a silent killer,
Yeah.
but
It's
it is.
just there.
It's 100%
You know,
killer.
you're being hit by radiation right now.
So radiation
All of it.
sickness, ARS is what it's abbreviated to, is classed as a living ghost state. So
Wow.
at first you don't feel like there's anything happening. You're just walking around as a ghost at that point because
Yeah.
you're inevitably dead.
Yeah, yeah.
But then your skin starts to darken and blister and then peel off in sheets.
Oh.
And there's a HBO series about Chernobyl, which is brilliant. If you haven't seen it, you
No,
definitely
no.
need to watch it. And they have this, it's gruesome.
Yeah.
But this
Well,
really
I
like harrowing
imagine.
scene of the firefighters in the hospital beds, and their hair's gone, their skin's gone, they're just bubbling
Can I
and
debunk
desperate to die.
that little bit for you?
Yeah.
There was a woman who was a nurse on the day of that incident. She was treating these men.
Yeah.
And she watched the series and reacted to it. It's on YouTube. You'll be able to find
Yeah.
it somewhere. But she's like, yeah, they didn't look like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like, not at all. Like, the wounds on the TV
I guess they
series,
do
they're all
dramatise it,
way,
yeah.
way over dramatized. She's like, they didn't come in looking like that, like they do in the series. They come into the hospital looking like that. She's like, no, they came in just looking like people.
Walking
They were
ghosts, they
were
didn't know they were dead
yeah,
yet.
they were just severely irradiated. She's like, it wasn't for a few days.
Before
then
they started.
then it started getting very gruesome, but it's not like.
But it
you're
did
not
end
you're
up
not
at that
yeah,
point.
Of course it did.
Yeah.
But you don't just get hit by radiation and all of a sudden you got blisters coming off your face.
No,
That's
yeah,
what
it
I
takes
I guess it
time.
is an example of your DNA is getting destroyed and you're dying from the inside out.
That must be a
So
horrible
it is a process
Mm-hmm.
over a few days that it gets you, but it gets you.
Just to say as well, could you imagine not knowing what was going on? Like you've never heard of radiation before, and the next
Yeah.
thing you know, your skin's just peeling off.
melting off
Yeah,
you.
that must be
Soup.
horrible.
And your insides
Yeah, like
are turning
if
into
you
soup.
taste metal, you're never thinking, oh, I'm dying of radiation
That's-
poisoning.
yeah,
I bust me lip.
Yeah, you're just like,
Yeah.
oh, there's a bit of blood in my mouth. But basically, 28 people or firefighters died from acute radiation sickness. And they were actually buried in lead coffins and they were soldered shut because their bodies were
Well, that
radioactive
radiated.
waste
Oh,
at that
God.
point.
When they were in the hospital, they were stripped of all of like their clothes by the
Yeah.
nurses, obviously, to get them off them, and their clothes are still to this day in the basement of the hospital because no
Yeah,
one can move
Urban
them.
Explorers
They are one of
have
the
photos
most
of them.
like radiated things on this planet. Is those clothes that those men were wearing that night?
Wouldn't you
They're
just
still
put them
there.
back in Chernobyl where it...
Well, no, that hospital is in Chernobyl.
Oh.
It's
They were
just
taken
left.
to a first hospital in Chernobyl, then they were
Right.
taken on to another one in Moscow for like further radiation treatment.
So if you think all of that's disturbing, this is about to get worse.
Oh, nice.
In my opinion, worse.
Yeah.
Because obviously only 3 kilometres away, or roughly just less than 2 miles, is the city of Pripyat.
And so I'm guessing it's going to
The
affect
50,000 people.
that far as well.
Who were standing on a bridge watching the blue glow, totally blissfully unaware, and in fact, they don't get informed for 36 hours.
And will it affected them just as quick?
Mhm.
Even though they're like...
having radiation just
Because
showered
how
on them.
far in miles is 2 kilometres, sorry?
It's
Do we know?
1.8 miles, roughly.
Oh, so it's not that far then.
No, it's
It-
like walking to the fire station.
It's
Yeah.
game over for the majority of them. But the
Imagine.
KGB wanted to control this situation. They didn't want anyone to
didn't
know,
wanna tell
and they just didn't
people.
tell them. Kids were playing outside in black dust that felt like snow, and that was actually just
It was
radioactive
They were
waste.
playing in the dust.
People were getting married, they were going to school, they were playing on the streets, business as usual for all of them.
Wow.
And then
And the KGB actually knew what was going, like,
Yeah.
knew the effects
well,
and
they,
what
did,
was
they,
happening.
didn't, they didn't know the reactor was on fire for like a good few hours.
I think
No one, they actually didn't believe that the reactor had even blew up.
No, but like once they knew what was going on, they still haven't informed anyone.
36
Like,
hours
yeah,
after it
That's a
blew,
lot.
they sent buses, I think, 1,200 buses arrived to evacuate the town, and they told them, don't worry, just pack light, you're only going to be gone for a couple of days till it settles down. They were never obviously allowed back.
Yeah, of course.
They left all of their things, and now Pripyat, that entire city, is left as a ghost town. Totally.
People can
It's just
go
been
there,
left.
can't they, though?
Yeah,
yeah.
so it's
you like
dark
tours
we, will,
there?
tourism.
we will be going.
I've always wanted to go, definitely. It's,
Because
always
I've
wanted
seen,
to go.
I think it was on that. I think it was on that dark tourism thing we were on about before. I'm pretty sure the guy goes there, and they have all have like the little radiation devices
The
when they're
Geiger
walking
counters, yeah.
around, to like see how bad it is in certain places. But even going there, isn't that still dangerous for you to like go?
yeah, it
there?
is. I guess it's all about how much
Yeah, it's about
radiation
how much
you absorb.
while you're there.
I'd probably
Now,
take it
most
off.
most of Chernobyl's been decontaminated.
Was it?
It's just there is some spots that are ridiculously high,
Yeah,
and like they're untreatable
yeah,
because we can't get close enough to them.
yeah.
But like there's like the red forest, which is a very irradiated forest, which is surrounding Chernobyl.
Yeah.
And like the forest turned red.
Ooh.
Got a picture.
Because I'm pretty sure like I've seen like videos of people walking around.
Yeah, you can walk
Yeah,
around.
you can
Yeah.
go.
You
and
can
we
go.
looked, didn't we? It's not a bad price
It's
to
like
go.
£300 a
And you
person
just
for
get a
2
tour
days.
guide,
Oh.
and they take you around. And it's obviously harrowing.
There's
But
still
it's
people who live
fascinating.
there.
Like there's stuff left there. And
Yeah,
stuff
because a
like
lot of people especially the older generation, were like, "This is my home."
So
So
they didn't leave.
They left
the site
and they
still
came
has
back.
a staff of 2,000 people that look after it.
Christ.
So, obviously, these people got evacuated, but the damage was done.
Yeah.
And what radiation does is it causes thyroid cancer commonly, and that's because it releases iodine, but it's a bad type of iodine. It's iodine 131. So there's 2 types of iodine, and doomsday preppers recommend iodine tablets because say if our power plant goes up and we pop one of these tablets, it'll fill our thyroid with the good iodine, like a sponge. And then if the bad iodine comes, we won't absorb it because our thyroid's full. But
Let's start taking iodine tablets.
the more you know.
Davey.
My mum gave me some.
Did she?
Yeah.
Of course, Mum's got some. Prepping.
She's
Done.
10 steps ahead of everyone else,
There
my
you
mum.
go.
Cheers.
But
Needed.
this was common for thyroid cancer to affect mainly the children. So you've got to imagine, like you said, how many infants were there. They were all infected at once with something that was going to kill them, and it's
Yeah.
because of that. And whether if it wasn't cancer,
That day.
Were people
Another
suing
thing.
them?
I don't think
You
they did.
can't really sue the Soviet Union.
No.
True.
It's not really how
Another thing
not
was,
America,
state
is it?
works. No.
obviously, like I mentioned before about the DNA getting destroyed, that was a thing. So these people, their DNA was getting destroyed, and maybe it wasn't killing them to the point of the firefighters who were right in the thick of it, because they were picking up radioactive waste with their hands and thinking, oh, look, it's glowing. That's cool. But these people, their DNA was still destroyed, and the way it affected them was that they passed it on genetically. So their kids would have...
Oh, so it's getting passed down.
Yeah, they would
genetically.
have, like, birth defects, maybe extra limbs, less limbs, 2 heads, like... Because
Damn.
they're passing on a destroyed DNA.
Ooh.
And I had to fact-check this, but when I was in primary school, I don't know if I've told you,
Ah, yeah, we were talking about this the other day.
they brought a bus of kids to primary school. And I had to fact-check this because I thought, is this a fever dream? Because it really traumatised me.
Understandable.
But, poor me compared to the kids who came.
Ah, nah.
Like,
So sorry, what
they
kids?
brought kids who were directly affected by the DNA mutations.
So they literally brought a freak show to your school.
That's basic. No, in all fairness, though, if you think about it now, that's what they did. And obviously, we're all like superficial kids who just don't understand life. And
That's-
and
that's-
I
that's
remember
the
being
definition of a freak
traumatized
show.
at like people who had missing limbs, and now obviously I feel terrible because I understand.
Ah,
But as a kid, you do think, oh, why do they
So
look
they used
different to me?
disabled people as a show and tell.
Pretty much, and they just explained like why they were like that, and obviously because of the radiation that their parents and their
Were
grandparents
these all
had.
from Chernobyl?
I don't know if they were directly from Chernobyl.
They've been like.
No, but they
birthed
were
with
descendants
the
of people who were affected
Yeah.
by Chernobyl
Yeah.
directly.
So fact checked with family members, and that did happen. I didn't make it up. So that's nuts.
Crazy.
But that's where my interest in Chernobyl, I think, started because I was like obviously freaked. Wow. Which I do feel bad for now. Obviously, I don't have that opinion now, but as a child,
Well, I mean,
it's
you don't
scary
know
because
any
it's the
different as a
first time
kid.
you've seen something like that.
British primary schools, man, telling you.
I know some kids got pink custard. We
We've
got
got the
Yeah.
whole
You've got a
world.
bus full
evacuees from Chernobyl.
of railway children.
Yeah. And as you briefly mentioned, we're going to the liquidators.
Oh yes.
So that was
We like
roughly
the liquidators.
600,000 soldiers, miners, and volunteers who
Just random mushers off the street.
who just buckled up and went to clear up Chernobyl the best they could, because
Damn.
the more you contain it, the less detriment that has to the rest of Europe or the world, because this could have been like game over for Europe, really, if this...
Let's not forget, it could have also exploded again. It could
Yeah.
have went off
Yeah.
twice.
So they had mechanical robots at first that they sent in, but the radiation was just too strong and it was buckling them. So these men were sent into the roof.
What did they call them, Lydia? Because listen to this one.
Bio
Bio-robots. That's what they called the men that they sent in.
Bio robots.
Yeah, because the
Real
actual
men.
the actual robots that they sent in broke because of the radiation, which humans won't break as quickly.
So they're biological
became
robots because they're people.
bio-robots.
But the
Oh.
Give 'em
KGB
that.
were like,
Yeah.
they're just...
They're just
No,
They're
no.
still
biological.
robots because they're
And
going to
maybe
do as
they
we
did that
command.
to like dehumanise what they were having to do. You know what I mean? When you
Yeah,
when you're
because
a
it's
management,
almost
you've got to sit
certain
there
death
and-
sending these
well, yeah,
people.
if you know and you're the nuclear physicist that's sending these men
Well,
in
they
to
clearly
clear
weren't
up-
bothered though, were they?
Yeah, so they
Like-
actually had this rule because there was so much radioactive graphite on the floor that on the roof of the reactor that blew, when they were clearing it up, they said you can stay here for up to 90 seconds, but then you have to go, because if you stay 1 second over that, you will die. It's certain death, and it'll be the death of the firefighters that few day where they're spent decomposing, basically. And they also built a massive concrete sarcophagus, which we've got a picture of. And it took 206 days to build that, but it contained the reactor.
It did it for now.
And saved the world, basically. These 600,000 liquidators risked their lives, and without any of us knowing, probably saved
the realest guys.
Hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people from radiation poisoning.
What jeez.
The true heroes. And the shockwave of radiation, to give you a bit of a scale, it covered 40% of Europe and parts of the Northern Hemisphere.
Really?
God, I didn't know it was that big of a shockwave.
The heaviest fallout contaminated 1,500 square kilometres, so Belarus, Russia,
Did it
Ukraine.
reach here?
Oh,
Fun fact.
we'll get to that.
It actually got to Cumbria, and there was a restriction on sheep farming because of it until 2012. So obviously we didn't get the horrors that they got, because I suppose
But we got the
it travelled by wind and weather, and we got like a diluted version of what happened.
It's like nowhere near the same.
Yeah. But we've got some, we'll probably put them on the screen now, some maps
Scary
to
shit,
show
that
the
way.
radiation travelling across Europe.
Well, Lauren, what makes it scarier is because the Soviet Union weren't wanting to actually tell anyone about what was going on.
Yeah.
It wasn't until 48 hours after the explosion that when the radiation cloud went over Sweden,
That rings a bell.
and it set the Geiger counters off in the next nearest nuclear power station, which was in Sweden. Their Geiger counters was when you work in a nuclear power station, you got to get scanned on your way in, and you get scanned on the
And
way
you can
out
see how much you've
you've
gained.
absorbed. So they were scanning their workers into work one morning where their radiation should be 0, and it was like through the roof as if they'd just been in like the core of the reactor. And they're like, well, where's all this coming from? So they start ringing around all the other plants being
And
like,
that's
have
when
you
they
had an
hacked
explosion?
Yeah.
And the
what's going
only
on?
plant that didn't report in
Was that one?
was Chernobyl.
Yeah.
Jammy bastards.
So
Imagine
If you
risking
think of
everyone's life just to not tell people what's going on.
Well, that's the Soviet Union. That's
Crazy.
the secret of state.
The Soviet
you know what
Union.
So imagine Chernobyl's in the middle of this map. That's red.
Yeah.
That's the red zone. So it's like 30 kilometres of Chernobyl that they do say will never be populated again. It'll never be safe. I think 24,000 years minimum before someone can...
24,000?
Yeah,
That's
they've
its
totally...
half-life.
They have
Damn.
written off, isn't it plutonium or something like that? It's the half-life of plutonium. Yeah.
That's
So-
crazy.
So that's done for, and then it goes amber and green. Where it probably is like green.
But we're green now.
Yeah, I think we always were in the grand schemes of
Just
what
like a
happened.
little
Yeah.
breeze.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So
Awful, that, like, must have been horrible. You can understand the people are, like, watching it from far
There's
away.
the exclusion zone, Lauren. So there's Pripyat, which is where
So it
where
has
it
reached,
was.
like,
And this-
very far.
You're not allowed to go in any of that area.
You're not, what, still now?
yeah,
Still to this
You
day.
can't go in any of
but
that?
it's certain
you can go
death.
in with
In all of that?
You can
go
have
in with
all the
special
gear.
permission and go in with protection.
Yeah.
So we were to go, we would be going inside of there, but you can't just wander in and go have a look. in
if
the
I
woods
walked
you
in
want.
there
the
now,
hell?
just as I am,
Uh-huh.
I would die in 3 days.
Really?
Maximum
If you wouldn't
3
know,
days.
like, the areas to
If-
go and stuff as well.
If she was to go in like the very, very dark bits.
Mm-hmm.
So all these lighter bits are very light bits of radiation. These dark bits here are very, very, very strong radiation.
Damn. That's crazy, that, isn't it?
Oh, a side note I forgot to mention as well is obviously these families had to pack up and go in 3 days, and they left their belongings behind. And you know what else they left behind? Their pets.
Oh, no.
Chernobyl
Little
is pretty
bits
much ran over by dogs,
Stray dogs.
radioactive
still
dogs.
there.
They're still there. They're alive. But a sad story is that when they sent the liquidators in, they also sent them in to
Shoot
destroy all the dogs because they were just gonna.
I don't like
They were
this story.
they were putting them out of
Horrible.
their
Yeah.
they were putting them out of their misery, I suppose, because
I
they
know,
were all. But
but
it's
it makes
really
me
horrible.
sad.
Like, fair enough, all the people are dying.
Chelsea,
but
don't
not
watch
the
this
dogs.
episode.
It's a bit late now.
I'm gonna
Disclaimer:
start-
the dogs die.
Yeah,
It's the worst part of the story
I think we
for
should
me.
we'll put a little disclaimer at the beginning
For
of the
Chelsea.
show. Yeah, for my little wifey.
So for me, Chernobyl, before we even get into anything else,
Yeah.
is haunting. It's like a new level of the word haunting because
Yeah.
It's not necessarily haunted.
It's just the thing
Well,
is haunted.
well,
we can argue.
It could potentially be, but it's a very haunting fact that society did this to itself, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, because even if you go well back to the fact that we're destroying the planet with nuclear whatever, and then you've got to bring in the fact that it's quite haunting that the KGB allowed 50,000 people to get poisoned with radiation. And then it's also quite haunting of the fact that this ghost of a disease, this ghost of a killer, infected all these people and it haunted their life and their kids' lives and their
passed on.
grandkids'
It's
going
lives.
through generations.
That
and
genetic
generations of people now,
mutation
innit?
will be mutated
For a long time.
for a long time. I don't know how it writes itself. That's something I don't know. But
And are people still getting like affected from it when they're being born? Like, are they still being
Yeah.
born with like extra limbs and
Yeah.
stuff like that? That's crazy.
it's really, really sad.
Yeah, it is.
But would you like to talk about the alleged hauntings in Chernobyl?
Do tell.
Should we have a moment? Because that's
I
heavy,
thought,
isn't
I
it?
thought she was going to go, do you have the time?
To
listen to me whine.
That was beautiful, guys. Do you want me to sing you a song?
Go on then, cheer the mood a bit, because that was pretty
Yeah.
dark.
Are you ready? You may say I'm a dreamer.
Thank you, Millie
Thanks,
Bobby
Lauren.
Brown.
You're very welcome. I just
Right.
apparently
I've
never
never
been
been on live television before.
and apparently
So, the shadow people of Pripyat. Would you like to know about these shadow
Pripyat.
people?
shadow
Da.
people.
There have
Yes.
been multiple sightings by these urban explorers, they had a name for them, stalkers. It's
Stalkers.
people who illegally enter the places they shouldn't be going.
Okay, yeah.
And they're not a full-bodied ghost, but they're like a two-dimensional pitch black silhouette that like flickers.
Right.
The theory could be that it's a time slip, which is interesting, don't you think? Because the city was abandoned so abruptly that like it's an echo of what was there,
Yeah.
which does make sense. And also some people say it's like the nuclear shadow. It burned the imprints of people. That's not obviously very scientific, but that's an interesting theory,
it's a
isn't
fun
it?
little theory, isn't
Yeah.
it? Just a theory.
Freaky.
Also, some explorers have. Obviously, this was a city, so there was more going on than just the plant. There was also other jobs: administration, buildings, schools, cafes, all that jazz.
To do that.
All that
Jazz.
jazz.
And explorers go into administration buildings, which are literally just left with like the book open on the table, the calendar's still open on.
I just can't understand
Like,
why
Which
people
naked
want to
lady it
go.
is this month.
Well, I
in
wasn't
the
going to
auto
say
garage.
that, but
Page
fair.
3 model.
And they actually hear phones ringing. Like
Oh,
a,
that'd be
like
ominous.
a rotary
Oh
phone.
no.
That'd be ominous.
And when-
a flip phone guy.
Laura's little
But
Motorola
before
Razr.
a flip phone, man, it's a rotary phone. It's a.
All right.
And when they
also
answer the
Soviet.
phone, they hear
it'd be
Soviet
red.
voices asking for water and instructions.
Really? So
But-
like ghost voices of people on the phone.
Yeah, but the phone lines were cut decades ago, and there's no electrical grid.
Nah, I'd be out.
Ah.
That's
I'd be
icky,
out.
isn't
Bye.
it? You hear a phone ring.
If we go
anywhere
there-
where the phone shouldn't ring, that's scary. That's like, what's your favourite scary movie?
Well, literally, if we go there and that phone starts ringing, I'm leaving you there. I'm getting in my
I
little
would
van.
slap my knee though,
Bye.
because that would be mint.
Bye. I'm getting in my little van and I'm off skis.
With your Geiger
My
counter
little guy
off-roading, because it's obviously got loads of potholes.
Potty Central.
Another haunting, would
Oh,
you
go
like
on
to
then, go
know?
on.
So
Another one.
I think whenever
Another
people
one.
think of Chernobyl, what they actually think of is that yellow Ferris wheel in
Of
Pripyat,
course, yeah.
which
Right,
you
yeah.
can probably visualise, yeah. And side note, as I mentioned at the beginning, I don't know if you've caught it, this fairground that they'd wanted to open was supposed to open on the May Day,
Yeah.
So it never opened.
Never actually got used.
That
did it?
Ferris
Oh,
wheel
okay.
never went round.
Right.
The dodgems that you see all
Never got played
overgrown.
on.
No,
That's kind of scary, isn't it?
that makes it even creepier.
because
that
it's
it was
never
like,
been used and now they're like abandoned. And,
It's like this
gross.
hope
Rusty and-
and optimism that they had for Pripyat,
that place.
and it never got to
It
happen.
was a bustling town.
Yeah,
Not for long.
but explorers have repetitively claimed to have seen a little boy sitting on one of the carts and he's holding a teddy bear, and apparently he doesn't look at you. He looks at Reactor 4.
Mm.
And it's all people say it's almost like he's waiting for it to finally go around, which is sad.
Yeah, because it's never going to.
But probably it's not true.
It's cute though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't ruin it, Lydia.
Also, naturally, people report sightings of the firefighters.
I think that makes more sense because they're the ones that were like,
But what's
Doing their
creepy
thing.
is sometimes they don't see them, but they hear them cry and scream.
Oh yeah.
They scream for their loved ones,
oh,
which I wonder if that's like replaying their last moments when they're writhing in pain in a
You
hospital
gotta, think,
bed.
you gotta think about the sheer, say like the guy who died in the reactor, the sheer
In the
amount
blast.
of the sheer amount of energy that had been created in that moment
Yeah,
would have saved him.
yeah,
Like saved his last moments on tape, essentially.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's a
As
stone
it done
tape,
something
isn't
like that.
yeah.
but yeah, and some people also claim to see their burnt silhouettes and can hear them coughing. So that's also
Bit coughing and
I feel like the
Pretty
copper
dark.
taste's gonna just stick with me like that. That must have been horrible.
Well, you're gonna
Yeah.
think you're getting like radiation poisoning now every
yeah.
time.
Lauren's
like
going on
biting it.
Amazon for a
Bites her tongue,
Geiger
yeah.
counter after this episode. I wonder if you can buy them in packs of 3.
I don't even think I can spell it.
Team you.
Yeah. But what's interesting as well, and I haven't wrote this down, but it came to me. Ghost hunters use Geiger counters because there's a theory that ghosts give off radiation.
Oh, okay.
And so there's been reports in Chernobyl of spikes, even though there's obviously a high level of radiation.
Yeah.
Everyone's going around with a Geiger counter anyway. There's spikes where there shouldn't be spikes. So if you believe that theory,
Then
that could be a little ghost.
yeah.
Or they could be radiated ghosts.
Yeah.
Might have absorbed all that radiation. Might be a way to find them.
And back to stone tape theory as well. There's a massive amount of graphite and concrete.
Yeah, there is.
So I bet
So
there's
that
a lot
is
of
the
stuff.
Hundreds
perfect
and hundreds of tons.
material to record.
Especially
what
with all
happened.
that energy of the blast.
So
there
maybe
as
all
well.
this like all the stuff is real if like
Yeah.
it's got all the correct kind of materials to
Nuclear
create
created
that.
ghosts.
Yeah. Ooh,
Imagine that in Fallout.
that'd be awful.
Yeah.
I've never played or watched Fallout.
You should play. You should play it and watch Fallout.
Probably
Yeah,
should. Is
that-
that about
it's good.
Chernobyl? Like,
No.
One of them is about Chernobyl. Is it
Ah.
Fallout 3? Is it
But
Chernobyl?
the
I'm
show
not too
isn't.
sure which one
It's
has
about
fallout
what that
of
happened
Chernobyl
though.
even.
It's a nuclear
same kind
end
of-
game for the Earth, and everyone goes underground,
Oh.
and they don't know when it's safe to come back up.
So I've
So there's
seen
like
the-
generations and generations of people living underground who've never seen the light of day.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because I've seen the suits on
Yeah,
COD.
the little blue suits.
I hate those blue suits.
Oh, I bought the
They
pack.
always kill me.
That's
on
how I
COD.
got the thank you, darling skin on COD.
Thank you, darling.
Was it Call of Duty that was set in Chernobyl? One of them
don't-
was.
Call of Duty.
Actually, yeah, I remember.
It was Call of Duty.
I'm gonna Google
it
it.
was Black Ops, I'm pretty sure, wasn't it? Black Ops 1?
Was it Black
Could've
Ops
been.
1?
Where they did, yeah, because that's the one where they've got the moon map on the zombies, isn't it?
Yeah, because I remember playing that when I was too young to play it. It was Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare.
It was Black Ops 1 because it was the Cold War era one.
Yeah.
This is coming up different.
We
Call of
should- We
Duty.
should play that.
We definitely should play that. So
Have
anyway,
you played
it
Call
was-
of Duty Cold War?
Not Cold War, no.
That's quite
No.
good. But yeah, I'll wrap this thing up because that's pretty much all I've got on the hauntings. But whether you believe that there's ghosts there or not, I think you can argue that it is a ghost town. It's probably the most terrifying
Yeah, that'd be spooky.
few moments of someone's. Imagine someone busting at your door and being like, "You have to go because if you stay 1 second longer, you're gonna die of radiation poisoning."
Yeah, that's freaky.
And get your kids and leave your dog and leave your stuff, leave your family photos, leave your wedding album, go. Like,
Wedding album.
that's horrific. I know, but like in a moment of
Yeah.
panic, these are the sort of things that you wouldn't
can't take
take,
them
and then you can
things.
never get them back because
Yeah.
It's like they're on your iPhone.
No.
that thing will have been just absorbing radiation for
So you
40
can't have
years.
it,
So it's
yeah.
gone. Like your whole life's gone, and
That's sad.
that's haunting.
That is haunting.
But
I seen a video of them burying all the cars and stuff. Because obviously a lot of the
Yeah.
stuff, everything had to be destroyed. But like the army burying cars like in this huge hole in the ground, just like kids' bikes getting chucked into it, and like it just was very,
mad, isn't it?
very. Everything looked brand new. The whole town
Like,
was
I know,
brand new.
I know it
Yeah.
is brand new, but then at the same time, it's like, imagine if this entire village that we're in right now just got left.
For 40 years.
Yeah, leave
Well, it's
all
as
of
if-
this
it's
stuff.
As if you left Peatley after it was built around the same time Chernobyl happened.
Yeah.
Peatley.
50s.
And like,
60s.
I was at 50s Peatley.
I thought it was the 80s.
I thought it was 70s Peatley.
Wait, we were all wrong.
Anyway.
Someone
it's
knows.
50s.
But like
60s.
just leaving that for that amount of time. Because it's the same
Yeah.
kind of brutalist architecture, innit? Like,
Yeah, it's very Soviet Peatley,
very
actually, isn't
Soviet,
it?
Yeah.
But,
Not
yeah.
an iron fist.
Oh, and also, to
Thatcher.
leave you with this spooky thought, still to this day, there's a huge mass of molten fuel bubbling deep in the basement of the reactor.
That's not nice.
Like, it's still
Still
glowing.
Ready to
hot.
go.
It's still glowing, it's bubbling, and it's just luckily sort of getting managed.
Hopefully.
Sort of,
Kind of, sort of.
if buts and maybes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
well.
24,000 years before anyone dare set foot in the exclusion zone. And that's the tea on Chernobyl.
Well, very good. I enjoyed it.
Have you got a would you rather
I
there then,
do.
Lauren?
I have a would you rather for you. So,
Definitely didn't say it.
would you rather, how's your father?
Thank you.
So, would you rather stay overnight in the Chernobyl exclusion zone hospital basement, or the amusement park with the Ferris wheel?
The amusement park was first.
Yeah, because I may
I know
not get
how
as much
much
radiation.
there is there.
Yeah.
Well, that was a
Although,
quick one.
if you're like, I'm going to die of radiation poison, I do think that
The Ferris
first
wheel
one
would
would be more interesting.
rather scary at night though.
Yeah, I
But
bet.
equally would suck the
Eerie as
hospital
fuck that would
basement,
be.
Knowing that all those uniforms of the firefighters are there spewing out radiation.
Yeah.
There's no radiation at the Ferris wheel. It's like 0.3
there is
megasieverts.
photos of the uniforms on the
There
floor, I
is.
think. We're going to probably loads of photos on this one, but
We'll just chuck them in, hasn't
yeah, but
Um,
it's just good
We'll
to
just
know.
salt and pepper them in.
Yeah.
I have another one, which is... Where have I've lost it. Oh, would you rather explore the Red Forest for an hour without protection, or swim in a contaminated cooling pool for 5 minutes?
The pool
Forest.
freaks me out.
Yeah.
Do you not have like a fear of abandoned pools?
I don't like.
I mean, stagnant water.
Still water's
I
a
don't
killer.
like being in water where.
Still water is a killer.
I don't like being in water where there's animals. I don't mind a pool where it's chlorinated and it's clean and it goes through filters.
Yeah.
But I'm
Imagine,
not a big
like-
fan of the ocean or
Aye,
seas or lakes.
being touched by anything.
Imagine
or,
a swimming
kelp or
pool,
something
right?
touching your leg.
Like an abandoned leisure centre,
Bit of
and the
kelp.
lights are off,
Oh,
and it's been abandoned for 20 years,
No.
no.
and you can't see through the water.
I'm not getting in.
No.
Defo's a shark, isn't there?
Yeah, there's one. Lydia, I'll go
100%.
and Pete Lee pool and I come up from the deep end and I think
used
there's
to
a shark
I
swimming
used to
after us.
always think there was a
I've
shark
had-
in that pool.
I've actually had multiple nightmares about a shark following me in
In that
Peterlee
pool.
Leisure
Yeah.
I
Centre.
wonder if that's
Swear
like,
to
if
God.
there's anyone local, please let us know, because
Comment.
that's 3 of us who never spoke about this, but
Or even if you
All
was
that
at a
shark
leisure centre as a kid and you
or
had
maybe
that
it's
thought.
just pools.
Yeah, it probably is.
But my dream was definitely about the Peterlee pool because it's
Peterlee Leisure Centre's like the back rooms, man. It's creepy as.
it is a
Have
creepy
you been
one.
up the back end with the gym and everything?
Yeah,
isn't it?
I used to run
go
around
to
on a kid.
birthday parties, like a bouncy
Yeah.
castle there, and it felt liminal then when I didn't
when
know what
we-
Did you
liminal
ever
was.
go on the bouncy castle in the water?
Yeah.
What?
No.
Me and
Have you
When
never?
Me and
I
Lauren
wish.
spent an entire summer on that
We
bouncy
did.
castle.
It used to be like £1 to get into the leisure centre, and you'd be in there, and you'd get your coloured wristbands for the hour you start, and there was like a long inflatable across like the length of the pool. And the one I remember was like a tropical island,
wasn't it? Yeah.
and you'd jump over the treasure chest and stuff, and like they'd be spraying
That
water on
sounds
it, and
really
you try.
fun,
It was
actually.
class.
So
They
much
don't
fun.
do things like that
No,
no
they
more.
don't do
No.
that
You
they
know what
used
I
to,
used
man.
to do there? I used to go to a dance mat class.
Dance mat class.
But it wasn't like a class.
Like
What, like the game, like
Like the
Like the
game
dance
dance mat,
mats.
they had 3 of them,
a class?
and it was a full sports hall in the dark, but with like
With the ones that
you know
plug into
those
the
little
PlayStation.
disco lights. And,
Oh my
and
God,
then
the
you
black
just took
one.
your,
One little disco
you took
like.
your shoes off and you just danced for like mindlessly for an hour, and then
How
that
much
was
did
it.
your mum pay for that?
I don't know. I feel like I went with Becca Hardman.
Did you ever used
Yeah.
to like sneak into the swimming baths? Because when I was younger, we used to like.
No, 'cause I
go
wasn't a
swimming.
miscreant.
I'm pretty sure I used to sneak in with
I
you.
think we did. We used to like go swimming, And then, like, once you go swimming, you're meant to leave the building. But we used to, like,
Go
go
to the
swimming
vendies,
and
then
then
go
hide. How we'd go to the vending machines, and then we'd run up the top end where the gym and stuff was. And then we'd start running upstairs where, like,
That's
the
unlocked
tennis
hard
courts
memory.
were, where, like, all the other stuff where we used to just go run around. And then security would come chasing you, being like, you're not allowed in here. And we'd be like,
That really
hiding
reminded me
around.
of the bins. Can you remember the frog bins?
the frog.
Yeah, the
Yes.
frog bins.
Core memory.
Yeah, yeah,
unlocked.
the
When was the last
bins.
time you were in there? Because it looks nothing like it used to.
Oh,
anymore,
definitely.
you
I
know.
haven't been there since probably my last dance
You-
mat
you will-
class.
You will honestly not remember.
But I tell
it.
you what
You'll
hasn't
not recognise it.
changed. The swimming pool, though. That's the only thing that I'm like, oh, I wish you
It
had given it
hasn't
a
even
change.
been retiled
I don't think it has. I still cut my toe.
on the same tile.
You think you'd learn after 29 years?
I know. Terrible.
What's the first thing you do when you get into a pool? Or like what goes through your head?
I have to jump in full body straight away.
Oh, I have to dunk straight away just to
Yeah.
acclimatise.
You have
See,
to.
in my head, I'm just going like, I'm no ordinary
Oh.
girl.
I'm from a deep blue underworld. And just
Do you get like a massive panic when you can't touch the floor no more?
I did when I was younger, but I'm tall now, and that hasn't affected as well.
What, even the deep end?
Yeah, because I know I understand there's depth.
Oh, I suppose on some level,
But
I know
like
there's
I like
depth.
to like hold myself on the side and push myself all the way to the floor and go. And then
Like
when
a
you
synchronised sinker.
But then when you slow down and you don't touch the bottom, that's when it gets scary because you're like,
Oh!
I've got no momentum.
Suddenly-
I've got nothing to push off.
Suddenly you
and
fell
I'm
out your
just
car on the
suspended.
flyover
Yeah,
and
I'm
you're
just
drowning
trying
in
to,
the tees.
Trying to like get
Yeah.
out, yeah.
scary shit, man.
So anyway, on that high note of the
Yeah.
evening,
That was our story of Chernobyl. Oh, like
Subscribe.
again,
share again,
follow us,
subscribe again.
Go for us.
unfollow
TikTok,
us,
Instagram,
Bosh.
Facebook,
tell your friends.
possibly
Bosh.
Snapchat one day.
Bosh.
Be nice
We
about
want more.
us. No more
Bosh.
trolls, please.
Yeah.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
No more trolls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bosh.
Bosh.
Bosh, man. Bosh, bosh, bosh.
Bye.
Bye.